Hello and welcome to another episode of Do You Want More, a UFC stat show right here on the Monkmatics channel. I am your host Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and in this episode, we're going to be covering the stats for all 6 fights for the main card coming up on UFC 267 this Saturday, October 30th. Headlined by Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira. So without further ado, let's get into the numbers. Magomed Ankalaev, first fight of the card, main card, I should say, going against Oezdemir. Light heavyweight fight. Ankalaev, 6'3", 75-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 29 years old, 15-1 professionally, 6-1 in the UFC. He has 9 knockout TKO wins in his career, and he has 1 submission loss. Average fight time in the UFC, just over 9 minutes. 17.43 ass whoop index. That is third highest out of 40 light heavyweight fighters. 2.3 power index, 4th highest. Perfect chindex of 0. Just fantastic numbers there from Ankalaev. Oezdemir, 6'2", 75-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 32 years old, 17-5 professionally, 5-4 in the UFC. 12 wins by knockout TKO, 2 losses, 1 sub win and 2 sub losses. Average fight time just over Ankalaev's fight time, 9.22 minutes. Ass whoop index 2.69. 21st in the division, power index 0.72, and a 0.28 chindex, which is 16th out of 40th. This fight opened Ankalaev minus 290. He's currently minus 345. Oezdemir opened plus 235, currently plus 264. I'm capping this a little bit more narrow than the bookies are. 60% for Ankalaev, 40% for Oezdemir. If you go by that wide line number, Ankalaev is 6-1 as a favorite, greater than or equal to 65% in the UFC. 6-1. Currently, he's a 77% favorite. And as a big underdog, look at Oezdemir though. 2 wins, 2-2 as a big underdog. Several finishes in the UFC, as we said. 5 first-round finishes. 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 2 finished losses in the second and 2 in the third. So lots of finishes here from these two. Let's get into some striking data. And if I say strikes, I mean significant strikes. You better believe it. 3.41 landed per minute for Ankalaev. 54% accuracy. He gets hit with only 1.78 strikes a minute. 65% defense. Second highest in the division there. Has a big differential. 1.64 strikes landed per minute. 8th highest in the division. 19% striking efficiency. I mean, this guy can throw. 55% of his total fight time spent fighting at distance. 5 knockdowns. He averages, his knockdown per 15 rate, I should say, is 1.18. 6th highest in the division. Never been knocked down. Very impressive striking numbers from Ankalaev. Oezdemir lands 5.03 strikes a minute. 5th highest in the division. 45.8% accurate. Gets hit with 4.24 strikes against per minute. 55% defense, 0.78 strikes differential, 15th highest in the division. Spends 79.3% of his total fight time fighting at distance. 3 knockdowns for, 1 against. He has a pretty good KD per 15 as well at 0.54. I mean, that's 18th out of 40 in the division. Now you think with all those big numbers from Ankalaev as far as striking that Oezdemir's got to have the takedown. No, you're wrong. Look at this. Ankalaev is dominating this whole side. I mean, not too much takedown offense to speak of, but 85% takedown defense. Huge. 18% takedown efficiency. I mean, we've got some low offensive numbers here from Oezdemir, but he does have an almost 81% takedown defense. So very good takedown defense from these guys. Basic control time data. This is where we really differ. Ankalaev controls 38% of his total, 38% control time. 6.79 control time against. So he's 5.5 to 1 ratio there. Spends 44.8% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance. Controls 84.8% of that fight time. Has a top 11. Has the 11th best get-up time in the division. Oezdemir, I mean, pretty much 1-to-1 control time. He is beating his opponents 11% to 9.5. Spends 20% of his fight time fighting inside the distance, controls 54% of that fight time, has a tremendous hold down time, but not as good as Ankalaev. Advanced significant striking data. What's jumping out at us here? The accuracy and defense from Ankalaev is off the charts. I mean, the top head strikes landed against per minute rate in the UFC at 0.68. I mean, that he's just not getting hit. In 7 fights, he's just not getting hit. Great efficiency from Ankalaev, except for that leg striking. Oezdemir has negative efficiency in 3 categories. I mean, Ankalaev's differentials are crazy. 1.78 head strike differential per minute. 1.16 ground strike differential per minute. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Ankalaev 5-0 in his last 5. Oezdemir 2-3 in his last 5. And Ankalaev is dominating the last 5 statistics. I mean, 20.78 ass whoop index. 2.74 power index. And that perfect chin index. These are huge, huge numbers. Huge. Takedown defense has improved over his last 5. Has Ankalaev 7.31% compared to his career. And Oezdemir making improvements in his takedown game as well, improving every aspect. Strength of schedule, some great numbers from these guys. You want them to be 70s. 75 is good. Anything above that is very good. And we're right there. We're right at 75. Ankalaev does take a couple of these categories, and he also has not lost in his last 5. With very high strength of schedule numbers, pretty much for most fighters on this whole card, actually. It's such a good card. Oh, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys that. We're all starved for fantastic UFC cards, and we've made it to the oasis on this one. These next few weeks, we're just going to hang out, listen to the band play, enjoy ourselves. Ankalaev, some big wins here. Oezdemir, big losses. Losses to Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes, Yuri Prochazka. I mean, by the name test, you would think that it's the strength of schedule goes to Oezdemir, but it's really close, actually. I mean, he did beat Alexander Rakic split decision, where the ass whoop index says that he lost that fight, but it is what it is, and then beat Ilir Latifi. Let's go on to some graphs here. Ankalaev with a great striking graph, trending up. Takedowns, killing his opponents here. Pretty much, 5-1. Trending up in that category as well. And then the control time, that's the big one. Almost 40% to just 5.5. He is trending down, but he's still eons above his opponents here. Eons? That's not the right measurement. We'll just say, I don't know, miles. How's that? So boring. Oezdemir trending up in striking, and he's also beating his opponents there currently. Trending down in takedown and control time, but he is getting the better of the control time over his opponents in the last 5. And then a visual statistical recap. Ankalaev with a huge chart here. Ankalaev never been knocked out, has been submitted in his 1 loss. And then the strength of schedule here, very close. Very, very close. Aggregate win-loss and finish rates. I kind of just use this to decide if a fight is going to go the distance or not. We have some very high finishing rates here from these guys in their career. And usually that number drops off when we go to the UFC. But in this case, it drops off just barely. We have tons of finishes for these guys. I highly doubt this one goes the distance. And if you want to take inside the distance, or does not go to decision, currently minus 185. That's not too bad, actually. Let's see here. Next fight. Oh, I can't believe I'm typing this guy's name again. Khamzat Chimaev going against Jingliang. This fight, fucking crazy. Chimaev, 6'2", 75-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 27 years old, 9-0 professionally, 3-0 in the UFC. I mean, he's got 6 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, never been finished. Average fight time in the UFC, just over 3 minutes, an 82.58 ass whoop index. Highest in this division out of 69 welterweights that I have in my database. 1.15 power index, perfect chin index. Chindex, what am I doing? Jingliang, 6 feet tall, 71-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 18-6 professionally, 10-4 in the UFC, 9 wins by knockout TKO, 4 submission wins, and 1 sub loss. Average fight time just under 11 minutes, 4.85 ass whoop index, 1.31 power index. That is almost top 10, but a 0.90 chindex. Not what you want to have when you're going against Khamzat. This fight opened for Chimaev minus 260. He's currently minus 489. My God. Jingliang opened plus 210, currently plus 363. This fight is minus 276, does not go to decision. I'm capping this 68% for Chimaev, 32% for Jingliang. Advanced line stats, I mean, Chimaev is 3-0 as a big favorite. Jingliang, 2-1 as a big underdog. 2-1 as a big underdog. Less than or equal to 35% implied odds. He's 4-1 as an underdog. This guy, what is happening here? My God. I don't think this is the one where I think he's going to go 2-2 as a big underdog after this. If he beats Khamzat, he's going to be a fucking superstar. Jingliang, I keep pronouncing there. I'm going to pronounce their names differently every time I say it. How's that? He's got 4 round 1 finish wins, a round 2 finish, and 2 round 3 finishes. I mean, Khamzat, 2 round 1s and a round 2. Oh, these striking numbers are crazy. Khamzat, 9 strikes landed per minute, 72.5% accuracy. That's top in the division. He gets hit with 0.1 strikes against. Second in the division. 66% striking defense, 8.93 significant strikes landed per minute differential. I don't even have to tell you that's first in the division. 39% efficient. He's only spent 7.4% of his fight time fighting at distance, you guys. 1 knockdown scored for, 0 knockdowns against. But that 1 knockdown has earned him a 1.56 knockdown per 15 rate for third in the division. Jingliang, 4.52 strikes landed per minute, 42% accurate, 3.65 strikes landed against per minute, 59% defense, and a 0.87 striking differential. That is 25th in the division. I mean, he's got decent numbers, but they sound like a joke compared to what I just read on the other side. Lee spends 73.61% of his fight time fighting at distance. He has 9 knockdowns in the UFC. 0.88 knockdown per 15 rate. That is 11th best. He's been knocked down 5 times, though. Crazy. Takedown data. Chimaev, 4.67 landed per 15, 75% accurate. Jingliang gets hit with 1.47 per 15 at a 59% defense. He's getting taken down easily in this one. Basic control time, my God, 92.59% for Chimaev, 0% against. 0. Where's my camera? 0. Jingliang, 9.5% control time for, 17% against. Spent only 26% of his fight time fighting inside the distance. Controlled only 36% of that fight time. I'm sorry, Leach. I'm sorry. This is just not your fight, bud. I mean, we don't even have to look at these. What jumps out to me here? All these 1s. And I know we're on very small sample size except to the head. But Jesus Christ. Chimaev, 8.52 head strike differential per minute. 8.72 ground strike differential per minute. This guy is a mauler. I mean, come on. Strength of schedule. Jingliang wins this category. Okay, there you go, Leach. You got one. And it's good. Set, over 75 in every category. Chimaev is over 70, though. It's not like he's fighting fucking cans at all. He's fighting good opponents. And that's over his last 5. Not over his, just the UFC. That's over his last 5. Gerald Meerschaert, quick knockout. Reese McKee, quick knockout. John Phillips, second round sub. I mean, look at this. Looks like Squidward's house, this graph. It's fucking crazy. And his opponents have 0 stats. Jingliang trending down, but is currently above his opponents in striking. Same with takedowns, where he is trending up. And then that control time definitely needs improvement. I mean, Chimaev, look, just killing it. Killing it. Aggregate win-loss and finish rates. Huge numbers here as far as wins go. Oh, I don't think it's the Leach's day on Saturday. Like I said, if he wins, he's going to be a goddamn superstar. I mean, I like the guy a lot. He's a fantastic fighter. But this ain't your day. Next fight, Alexander Volkov going against Marcin Tybura. Heavyweight fight, 6'7" is Volkov. Wow. 80-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 33 years old. Hey, happy birthday yesterday, Alexander Volkov. Professional record, 33-9, 7-3 in the UFC. He has 22 wins by knockout, 2 losses, 3 sub-wins, and 2 losses. Average fight time in the UFC is over that 15-minute mark. 3.46 ass whoop index. That is good for 17th out of 43 heavyweights. 0.37 power index and a 0.42 chindex. Not what you want to see. Marcin Tybura, 6'3", 78-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 35 years old, almost 36, 22-6 professionally, 9-5 in the UFC. 46% of his fights have ended by knockout in his career, 9 wins, 4 losses. He also has 6 submission wins. Average fight time just over 12 minutes, 6.15 ass whoop index, that is 12th highest in the heavyweight division. 0.16 power index and a 0.71 chindex. Volkov opened -210. He's currently -293. Bit of line movement there. Tybura +180, currently +230. This fight is -134, does not go to decision. I'm capping this for Volkov, but much more narrow. 56% for Volkov, 44% for Tybura. Volkov 5-1 as a favorite, and if you go by Vegas, he is 1-0 as a big favorite. Tybura 3-3 as an underdog, 0-1 as a big underdog. Volkov, let's see here. I got distracted, sorry. Round finishing data. 2 round 2 finish wins for Volkov, 1 round 3, and a round 4 finish as well. Tybura does have a round 1, 2 round 2 finishes, and a round 3 finish. Been finished in every round as well, so a plethora of finishes here. A cornucopia, if you will. Alexander Volkov, basic striking data, 5.23 landed per minute at a 57% accuracy. Gets hit with only 3.12 per minute at a 54% defense. That is a 2.11 strikes per minute differential. 5th best in the division. Very good numbers there. 11% efficient. Spends 69% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Has 3 knockdowns logged and 2 knockdowns against. He only lost one of those fights in which he was knocked down, though. And that was the Derek Lewis fight. Marcin Tybura lands 3.63 strikes a minute, 50% accuracy. 3.31 landed against per minute at a 55.8% defense. 0.33 strikes landed per minute differential. 54.92% of his total fight time has fought at distance. 1 knockdown 4, and he has been knocked down 4 times. Basic takedown data. This is where Tybura kind of shines. Volkov landing only 0.68 takedowns per 15 minutes. 68% takedown defense. Tybura lands 1.67 per 15. 45% accuracy, but he has that 82% takedown defense to fall back on. 1.23 takedowns per 15 differential. Basic control time data, 6% for Volkov, 24% against. Not great there. 4-1. Spent 30% of his total fight time fighting inside the distance, and he only controls 21% of that fight time. Not great. Tybura, 31% for, 14% against. So 2-1 there. Spends 45% of his fight time fighting inside the distance, controls 69% of that fight time. So much better numbers in this category for Marcin Tybura. I mean, Volkov clearly the better striker everywhere for the most part. I mean, these numbers aren't even that close. Positive striking efficiency everywhere except for inside the distance. Tybura is negative in 2 categories. Pretty low in his striking differentials. Volkov, 1.5 head strike differential per minute. 2.13 from distance. I mean, looking pretty good here. Last 5 fights. Volkov is 3-2. Tybura on a good little streak. 5-0. Ass whoop index for Volkov in his last 5, negative 1.27, 0.3 power index, and a perfect chindex. Marcin Tybura in the last 5, 14.05 ass whoop index. He is dominating almost every category in these last 5 over Volkov. Volkov trending down in every single category over his last 5 compared to his career. Minus 20% takedown accuracy, minus 10% takedown defense. Marcin Tybura improving in 5 of 8 categories there. And you might say, well, what's his strength of schedule? It's actually, for the most part, better than Volkov's is. Volkov has a lower strength of schedule. His strength of defeat is better, but that's just because Tybura has no defeats in his past 5. I mean, but the strength of schedule is, 1.5 points away. And there's the breakdown of the last 5. Tybura beating Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, Rothwell, Grishin, and Sergey Spivak. 2 of them were knockouts. Looking pretty good. No negative ass whoop indexes there. Volkov losing to Gane, and Blades beating Hardy, Harris, and Overeem. So we have two common opponents, Both of them won by knockout over Harris, and Hardy was a decision for Volkov. Let's see, Volkov trending up in striking, and that's pretty much his only game. He has no game anywhere else as far as the ground goes. Marcin Tybura, pretty even with striking, but his ground game is far, far above his opponents. Not even close. Visual stat recap. I mean, you can read that for what you will. Tybura never been submitted, but he has been knocked out at a much higher rate. And then that strength of schedule, pretty even, but it's going to go to Tybura, I think. And then aggregate win-loss and finish rates, big-time finishes from these guys professionally. And then inside the UFC, we're at 50% wins, 50% losses. So that's pretty much a flip 'em. A flip 'em? A coin flip to see if this is going to go the distance or not. And we're pretty much there anyways. Minus 134, plus 102. So we're pretty much already there. Next fight. Islam Makhachev going against Dan Hooker. Makhachev, there we go. 5'10" is Makhachev, 70-inch reach, southpaw stance, 29, almost 30 years old. Let's see here. 20-1 professionally, 9-1 in the UFC. 3 wins by knockout, 1 knockout loss, and 9 wins by sub in his career. Just under 10.5 minutes of average fight time. 18.39 ass whoop index. That is 6th highest in the lightweight division. 0.85 power index. 1.25 chindex. Really bad chindex there. Dan Hooker, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach. Switch stance fighter, 31 years old, 21-10 professionally, 11-6 in the UFC, 10 knockout wins, 2 losses, 7 sub wins, and 2 sub losses there. Average fight time just over 10.5 minutes, 6.8 ass whoop index, 0.78 power index, and a 0.24 chindex. So much better than the 1.25 from Islam. Islam did open minus 300. He's currently minus 638. That is disrespectful to Dan Hooker, who is plus 250, currently plus 445. This fight is minus 104, does not go to decision. I'm capping this 61% Makhachev, 39% Hooker. See, Makhachev is 8-0 as a big favorite, greater than or equal to 65%. Dan Hooker is 1-2 as a big underdog, so he has defied the odds once before. 6 knockout wins here for Hooker in the UFC, 2 subs, 4 subs for Makhachev, and 1 knockout. 7 first-round finishes between these guys. Makhachev, 2.24 strikes landed per minute at a 58.79% accuracy. Gets hit with only 0.77 strikes a minute. Second best in the division at 70% defense, 1.48 strikes per minute differential. 18th highest in the division. 29% striking efficiency. He spent 38% of his fight time fighting at distance. 2 knockdowns for, 1 knockdown against. Dan Hooker, 4.95 strikes landed per minute at a 48% accuracy. Gets hit with 4.66 a minute. 52% defense, 0.29 strikes landed per minute differential. 71% of his fight time has come in at distance, I should say. 7 knockdowns, 2 knockdowns against. So some huge numbers there. And then Makhachev is ruling the takedown categories. I mean, 3.3 landed per 15 minutes, 65% accuracy, 88% defense, 8.79 takedown shooting rate as well, 53, almost 54% efficient. Dan Hooker lands less than 1. Gets hit with only 1 per 15 minutes, 80% defense. So that's going to be put to the test in this fight. Control time, 51.5% for Makhachev, 10% against. 61% of his total fight time has come inside the distance. and he's controlled 83.8% of that fight time. Just amazing. 19.48% control time for Dan Hooker, 9% against. So 2-1 for Dan. 28.69% of his fight time has come inside the distance. He's controlled 67.9% of that fight time. So not too bad, but Makhachev's numbers in the control time are just crazy. And then you look at significant striking, advanced significant striking data. I mean, accuracy and defense is almost all Makhachev. Makhachev owns every defensive category over Hooker, and it's not even close. Efficiency, all Makhachev here. I mean, differentials 1.22 to the head. 0.7 ground strike differential per minute. Half a distance strike. So Makhachev doesn't throw much volume, but when he does, it works for him. Last 5 fights. 5-0 is Makhachev. 3-2 is Dan Hooker. 18.36 ass whoop index for Makhachev in his last 5. I mean, just crazy numbers. And he is trending down in 7 of 8 categories, but not by much, except for that takedown accuracy. Down 13% in his last 5 compared to his career. Whereas Dan Hooker trending up in 6 of 8 categories. Strength of schedule is going to go to Dan Hooker here. And it's not too close, of several points in each category. We're still over 70, though, for Makhachev. Like we say, he's not beating cans. Hardly anyone on this card has a poor strength of schedule. Makhachev with wins over Moises, Dober, Davi Ramos, Sarukian, and Johnson. Dan Hooker beating Hack Press pretty easy, not pretty easily. He did dominate him, though. Paul Felder and Iaquinta in his last 5. Makhachev trending up as far as significant strikes go, and he's already pretty high above his opponents. I mean, his ground graphs are crazy high. Hooker trending down in strikes, but way above his opponents. Trending up, and I mean, he's got the takedown game over his opponents big time. 1.45 to 0.18, I think that says. Trending way up, and then same with control time, but just compared to Makhachev, it makes him look average. And then the visual statistical recap. You want to take a look at that. Aggregate win-loss and finish rate. Tons of finishes here outside the UFC and inside the UFC. I mean, we're over 100% when you add up the wins and losses there. That's kind of what I go to. That's going to decide if I'm going to pick inside the distance or not. And this is currently minus 104. Does not go to decision. So, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Makhachev gets a finish here. But, I mean, Dan Hooker, he's been finished 4 times in his career, so it has happened. Co-main event of the evening, Peter Yan going against Corey Sandhagen. Bantamweight, interim, belt on the line. 5'7" is Peter Yan, 67-inch reach, switch stance fighter, 28 years old, 15-2 professionally, 7-1 in the UFC, 7 wins by knockout, 1 win by submission, never been finished. 14 minutes average fight time, 16.43 ass whoop index. That is 7th out of 77 bantamweights in my database. 1.34 power index, 12th highest, and 0.25 chindex. So he has been knocked down. Sandhagen on the other side, 5'11", 70-inch reach, switch stance fighter, 29 years old, 14-3 professionally, 7-2 in the UFC, 6 wins by knockout, 3 wins by sub, and a submission loss. 9 minutes of average fight time for Sandhagen, 9.78 ass whoop index, 15th best, 0.78 power, and a perfect chindex. Yan opened minus 300, currently minus 250. Disrespectful. Sandhagen plus 250, currently plus 201. Minus 105 fight does not go to decision. I'm capping this 56% Yan, 44% Sandhagen, and I might go against that pick. I really like Sandhagen here. Yan is 7-1 as a favorite. 7-0 is a big favorite if you like Vegas. Corey Sandhagen 1-1 as an underdog, never been a big underdog. Lots of round-by-round finish numbers here. Tons of them. Striking data. Peter Yan, 6 strikes landed per minute, 52% accuracy. Gets hit with 3.55 strikes landed per minute at a 62% defense. 2.44 striking differential there per minute. 7th highest in the bantamweight division. 14.5% efficient. 78.29% of his fight time has come at distance. He has scored 9 knockdowns 1.2 knockdown per 15 rate, 1 knockdown against. Corey Sandhagen lands 6.32 strikes a minute. Wow, 5th highest in the division, 47.5% accurate, 4 strikes landed against per minute, 59% defense, 2.27 strike differential per minute, 8th highest in the division, right behind Peter Yan. 6% efficient, 67% of his total fight time has come at distance. 4 knockdowns in his career, or in his UFC career, 0 knockdowns against. Basic takedown data, this is going to be Peter Yan. 2.14 landed per 15, 90.5% defense. My God, he only shoots 1.86% though, so it's not too often. Corey Sandhagen, 65% defense. He's probably going to need that in this one, especially if he pops Peter Yan with a few jabs, some knees, some kicks. Yan's going to want to look to take this to the ground, I think. Basic control time data, 14.7% for Peter Yan, 7% against. 21.7% of his total fight time has come inside the distance. He controls 67.8% of that fight time. So pretty average numbers there from Peter Yan. 13% control time for Sandhagen, 19% against. He does get out-controlled. Spends 32% of his fight time fighting inside the distance. Controls 42% of that fight time. Not great numbers there for Corey Sandhagen as far as control time goes. Advanced significant striking data. Wow, this is all Peter Yan for the most part. So we get into some of these, leg strikes per minute, distance strikes per minute, etc. Advanced significant striking efficiency and differentials. Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen positive across the board in every category. The only negative one is Yan's leg strike differential per minute. His head striking is 2.44 per minute differential. That's crazy. Sandhagen, though, just below 2. He has a 1.36 distance striking differential, 0.87 ground strike. Peter Yan, 1.27 ground strike differential per minute. Some crazy numbers there. If you put their last 5 up against each other, it's Yan, and it's not really close. 14.65 ASWAP index. 2.02 strikes landed per minute differential. Positive takedown diff, positive control time diff. Huge power index number. This is his main bad number right here, is Chindex. 4 of 8 categories, he's trending up. Is Peter Yan. Sandhagen trending down in 6 of 8 categories. His takedown accuracy down 44% in his last 5 compared to his career. Strength of schedule, some more very good numbers, and this one's going to go to Peter Yan. Sandhagen edges the actual strength of schedule, but the strength of victory, defeat, and opponent win percentage all go to Peter Yan, but just barely. 2 fantastic strength of schedules here again. Both guys losing to Aljamain Sterling. Frankie Edgar, or Sandhagen has wins over Frankie Edgar, Marlon Moraes, Rafael Assunção. And Peter Yan's graphs are off the charts. He's trending up everywhere. He's way above his opponents in every category. Sandhagen trending up in striking, way above his opponents, but that ground game and the control time definitely needs some work. I take back what I said about, never mind, I don't take it back. Peter Yan's definitely, his path to victory here, I think, is at least getting 1 or 2 takedowns and just beating up Corey Sandhagen on the ground. I don't think you're going to outstrike Corey Sandhagen standing up when, you're 4 inches shorter than him, arms are way shorter than his. Anyways, Peter Yan dominating the basic fight metrics here in the visual statistical recap. Yan never been finished. Sandhagen has been subbed 1 time. I think that was that Suvolev stretch from Aljo. And then the strength of schedule, so close. But it's going to be Peter Yan here, I think. And the aggregate win-loss and finish rates. Not too high professionally. Once they get into the UFC, the finishes actually start to go up. We're almost at 98% there between the wins and the losses. So, man, this is going to be a good fight. I'm going to do some more tape on it. I will have a tipping point video out about this one where we will go more in depth on more of these numbers, but I just don't have the time for it today. We're going to finish up. Did I do it? I did. Jan Blachowicz going against Blachowicz. I don't know why. Blachowicz? Going against Glover Teixeira. Light heavyweight fight. Light heavyweight title on the line. Champion versus #1 contender. Love to see this. Jan, 6'2", 78-inch reach, orthodox stance, 38 years old. 28-8 professionally, 11-5 in the UFC. 8 wins by knockout, 2 losses, 9 wins by sub, 1 sub loss. Average fight time, 12.6 minutes. 4.47 ass whoop index, that is 14th highest out of 40 fighters. In the light heavyweight division, 0.82 power index and a 0.18 chin index. Teixeira, 6'2", 76-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 41 years old, almost 42, in just 3 days. So before this fight starts, he'll be 32. 32-7, or 42. Numbers, they're hard. Professionally, he's 32-7, 15-5 in the UFC, 18 wins by knockout in his career, 3 losses, 9 wins by sub, never been subbed. 10.3 minutes average fight time, 6.85 ass whoop index, 10th highest in the division, 0.67 power index, and a 0.62 chin index. Not what you want to see there. Blachowicz opened -190, currently -288. Teixeira opened +165, currently +230. I'm capping this 56% for Jan, 44% for Glover. Jan as a favorite, 2-2 as a big favorite, as he's listed here. 1-0, sorry. Teixeira as an underdog, 4-3, as a big underdog, 2-3. Look at this number here, 9-3 is Blachowicz as an underdog. He's been an underdog 12 times in his UFC career. 5-1 when he had less than or equal to 35% chance of winning that fight. 5-1. Several UFC finishes for both these guys. I mean, 10 knockouts between them. 8 subs. 8 round 1 finishes, 7 round 2 finishes. My goodness. Basic striking data from Jan, 3.59 landed per minute at a 59.5% accuracy, gets hit with 2.79 per minute at a 53% defense, 0.80 strikes landed per minute differential. That is 14th highest out of 40 fighters. 58.68% of his total fight time has come at distance, 6 knockdowns, 1 knockdown against. Pretty good numbers there. Solid numbers, I should say. Very solid. Over Teixeira, 3.58 strikes landed per minute, just under Jan Blachowicz. 49% accurate, 3.88 landed against per minute at a 54% defense, negative striking differential. 53.87% of his fight time has come at distance. Glover has logged 5 knockdowns and 5 knockdowns against. Oof. Basic takedown data. Just over 1 for Jan, 53% accurate. His defense is 66%, not great. 19% takedown efficiency, pretty good. Glover Teixeira, 1.95 landed per 15 minutes, 40% accuracy. His defense is also poor, 60.3%, not great. But he does have a 4.4 takedown shooting rate, so he is going to be looking to get this to the ground, most likely. Advanced takedown, actually that's not true. I might have to look at his last 5. That might just be an overall career. Basic control time data, 15% for Jan Blachowicz, 26% against. Almost 2-1. 41% of his fight time has come inside the distance. He's only controlled 37% of that fight time. Teixeira, on the other hand, 29% for, 17% against. 46% of his fight time has come inside the distance, and he's controlled 62.8% of that time. Has a quick get-up time, relatively. Ninth quickest in the division, I should say. Submission game. Glover Teixeira, 46.15% submission rate. Very good there. 100% submission defense rate from both of these guys. Advanced striking data. This is mostly Jan Blachowicz's category. I mean, the accuracy, the defense, except for the head striking, is pretty much all Jan's. Advanced striking efficiency and differentials. Positive numbers across the board from Jan. And he has a couple of pretty good differentials too. 0.86 head strike differential per minute. 0.88 from distance. And then Teixeira, negative in 3 places. Body, distance, and inside the distance. And then several negative differentials as well. But that ground strike differential, 0.81. Very good. Jan Blachowicz, 80% of his strikes thrown have gone to the head, 13% to the body, and 7 to the legs. Teixeira, 90% to the head, 8 to the body, less than 1% to the legs. Both these guys are 5-0 in their last 5. I mean, this is a checkerboard. We're switching back and forth here between offense and defensive, basically, stats. Blachowicz, positive differential everywhere except control time. And Teixeira, positive differential everywhere except for striking. I mean, 11.22 ass whoop index in the last 5, 12.85 for Teixeira. The only bad one is this Chindex, 0.74. Blachowicz improving in 7 of 8 categories over his last 5 compared to his career, where Teixeira is trending down in 5 of 8 categories there. One being significant striking defense, 5%, which is not something you want to see going against Jan. Strength of schedule, like we said, both guys are 5-0, but Jan dominates this category. Glover's barely above 70, 71 in these categories. Jan is almost 80. I mean, he's got the second and third highest ratios on the card. Great strength of schedule from Blachowicz, but what do you expect? He fought and beat Israel Adesanya, Reyes, Anderson, Souza, Rockhold. Teixeira wins over Santos, Smith, Krylov, Kutalaba, and Roberson. So if you play the name game, it's pretty easy to see why Jan wins that strength of schedule, and the numbers back that up as well. Couple of graphs, Jan way above his opponents as far as striking goes in his last 5, and he's still trending up. Takedowns, he's trending way up. His opponents have nothing. And then the control time is trending up, but he is below his current opponents. But that's has a lot to do with the Rockhold fight and the Jacare fight there. Glover Teixeira trending way up as far as striking goes. Opponents trending down, and he's pretty even with his opponents. Takedowns is all Glover, and he's trending up. Same with control time. Looking fantastic. Basic fight metrics. I mean, Blachowicz pretty much dominates this except for that grapple control percent. Fight finishing metrics. I mean, Teixeira never been subbed, and then neither guy with the strength of defeat. But Blachowicz dominating the strength of schedule category. And then we'll finish it up with the aggregate win-loss and finish rates. You know, over 100 here for wins and losses professionally. And once you get into the UFC, it's just below 100. We're at 99%. I don't know. I'm thinking this one goes the distance. Unless Jan lands some of that Polish power on the 42-year-old chin of Glover Teixeira, I think this one is probably going to go, oh God, I don't know, minus 230 doesn't go the distance? That's way too wide, in my opinion. Way too wide. What are Jan's last 5 finishes? Okay, knockout, decision, knockout, knockout. So he knocked out Reyes, Corian. Okay. All right. Maybe it's not too wide. I don't know what I'm going to do for that one. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to finish taping this fight. Guys, we did it. We finished all 6 fights for the main card, UFC 267, headlined by Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate that. Go check out, if you missed it, my prelim video. I did cover all 9 fights for the prelims for UFC 267. Check that out. And be on the lookout, guys. I'm going to have at least 3 tipping point videos coming to you this week. Probably the top 3 fights here, and maybe another one. I'm going to do a bets video where I break down all these advanced line statistics, get you all the betting information that you need before you place bets. Hopefully I'll have that out by like Wednesday. I'm going to try to get my DraftKings video out this week as well. I got a lot more stuff coming, so be sure to check it out. And also be sure to do your fight tape. Pair it with this, and it complements each other just like, a steak and a red wine. Looking fantastic. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and enjoy the fights this week. We'll see you in another video. Arrivederci.